It's talking therapy.
Wow. So sonorous.
It's talking therapy. Good morning, Dr. Michael.
Good morning.
How you feeling today?
Awesome. Islamiyah, is that auto or tenor?
Well, the thing is, everything that is good is not only one thing. So the mixture of every soprano is there. Everything you're looking for is there. It's not just one thing.
You don't mean it. Okay. Well, if you join us for the very first time, this is Talking Therapy, and it's a conversation we do every Tuesday morning between 9 and 10 o'clock, where we talk, we don't judge, we listen. This is where the conversation actually happens. And today being a very special day, every Tuesday is special, but today is actually Mental Health Providers Appreciation Day. We saw it this morning. We're like, we have to honor the people who have dedicated their time and their hard work to helping people every single time. We want to celebrate you, Dr. Michael. We say thank you so much for being for doing talking therapy with us. I personally have become a better person mentally.
Wow.
From just sitting down every Tuesday morning with you on the radio. And of course, just putting ourselves out there, and you just being very open with the knowledge that you share, with the counsel that you give, with the therapeutic section that we have here on the show. I'm very grateful. Personally, it has been of immense help to me. Just even opening up myself to thinking of the world differently. And you have been very supportive of my work within and outside of the radio, which I'm very grateful. Saturday was amazing. It was a lot of feelings, but we'll get to that. Not yet. We'll get to that. We'll get to Saturday. But it's first, we're celebrating you this morning.
Yes.
And we're very grateful to you for being open-minded with us. Even allowing us to have an atmosphere where we are very open-minded. And it stems from you as an individual. Where, like the song says, here we don't judge. And it starts from you as an individual who has not judged any conversation, who has just always listened. And I think it's an incredible work that you do. I believe it's an incredible work that you do, and it's not everybody that can do the work that you are doing. Because we're saying this morning that Nigerian therapists, they probably need a therapist.
Some people will tell you some things, you look at them and be like, "Are you okay?" And you know that you cannot do that. Yeah. You cannot
But can you actually tell your client, "Are you okay?"
Because some people, that's what they need. They need to be asked that question. Sorry, you just give them one dirty slap. Some people, it's dirty slap that they need. You've never given anybody dirty slap before. Just give them dirty slap.
I need to slap. I need to slap sense.
I cannot be there because I'll be like, somebody will tell me, it's crazy the work that you do. And the fact that I worked with somebody that also works in the system before made me realize that there's a lot that people go through, and there's a lot that you have to do as a person to be grounded enough for you to work in that particular system as well. And getting free therapy is something, because therapy is expensive. So getting free therapy.
By the way, Dr. Michael is one of the highest paid. Okay. I dare say one of the highest grossing
in the city. Oh shit! Are
His sessions are not.
If they say you should tune in and listen to talking therapy, you think therapy is cheap?
Call Dr. Michael.
There's so much insights that
call Dr. Michael outside of this show.
At least you get clarity. Then you now realize that you need the therapy. You need a session. But sometimes you just need somebody to open your eyes to some certain things, and this is what this show does.
It just opens questions on the radio.
It opens your eyes to certain things. You are able to understand, and whatever it is that you're talking about, you think people have knowledge in it. So this one we're talking about periods, we're talking about tampons. There are people that have no idea. People that have no idea about it, even up until this moment. So no matter what we talk about, there's always somebody that is getting a lot of knowledge from it. So it's important that you're always here with us every Tuesday. And today we are just very appreciative of the work that Dr. Michael does here on the radio and even outside of the radio as well. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael.
And thank you for making it so easy for me. You make it so easy. You also offer yourself to be, should we say, a scapegoat, or like you literally use your own personal life to so that it can be more practical and be able to reach so many people.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask, do you ever get times when you feel like, oh, I need help? and I need somebody to help me figure out what I'm going through. Like, do you ever get times when, I mean, everybody goes through something. There's sometimes that you don't feel so good, and there's sometimes that you feel really great and whatever. Or maybe have you ever gone through something after you became a therapist that made you realize that I think I need help. I don't think I can figure this out on my own. You know how doctors will be sick, and sometimes nurses, they might diagnose themselves because they know the symptoms. But have you ever at any point gone through a time where you realized that you were going through symptoms of some certain things, and how were you able to, how do you handle it as a therapist? Now, do you therapize yourself, or do you or do you get somebody else to do the work for you?
Okay, so
basically, do you have a therapist?
So okay, I used to wish that I have someone, or I look at my clients now and I say, you guys are enjoying, like you literally just call and then somebody just literally gives you answers, the specific exact answer that you've always looked for. I think what happened was, for like, I don't want to say number of years because people start guessing my age. I don't like when people start guessing my age. So I think for a huge number of years, I could say I was like in the crucible, like I was in a place where I can say maybe work was being done on me for I don't want to say just a huge
number of years.
And through those times I was able to work on myself so much that by the time I was now ready to reach out to people and start helping people, you could say I already had a grasp of, so if something needs to be done in my own life, I already I'm like, you can literally say I'm prepared for the work. Not only for people, but also for myself. Because there's a private life, there's also a public life. So I've been able to learn how, so if anything happens, I've been able to know how to attend to public issues. That's about people, and also how to attend to myself. Like yesterday I was having a session till up very close to my bedtime, and I was just laughing because I literally have a time where where I change to my nightie, or
so you have a nighttime routine.
While I was having the session done, I was practically going through my nighttime routine. And by the time I was done with the session, I was ready for bed. And I was now laughing like, oh my God, the clients didn't even know what I was doing. So, and that's what I try to encourage people, because you can't afford to be carried away with the public aspect of the work. That is the people aspect of the work. You also have to
do the work yourself.
Be able to also deal with your own self. So the short answer is that before starting, I spent a huge number of time getting. There was a time I asked myself 200 questions, and it was for a huge number of years, and I was able to get answers to those questions gradually and rest of that. So, and there's practically nothing I say on radio or to my clients that I don't do. One thing is, I will never say what I don't do,
what you don't do,
what I've not experienced. I will never say it. I'm not going to come on radio or have my session and start talking about a particular principle or theory, just copied from somewhere. It will never be. Or I tweet, whatever you see me tweet or post,
things that you believe in,
or whatever I repost is
something that you have already done.
I have already done, and I'm sure that it works. It is. So by the time you're asking me questions on it,
it's like using a product and you're talking about that product. You already know. You
already know what it is and how it works.
So there's no answer. There's no question you're going to ask me that I won't be able to answer.
Okay. So is there any way that do you call them patients now? What do you call them?
No, clients.
Clients. Is there any way they make the work easy for you? Like what can somebody do when they're coming for therapy to make sure that the work is easy for you?
Be open-minded, because I say a lot of weird things. A lot of weird things that probably you've never heard before. Or like very weird things, and you say, how does that connect to, or how is that related to the question I just asked? And then you're wondering, no, this can't be true. Yes. There was one lady one client, she literally argued for 8 hours, but 4 hours separately. Like the first 4 hours of one particular session, because I have a way of connecting to people's subconscious mind. So whatever I'm saying is associated with what is in your subconscious mind, but you are not aware of.
Oh.
So that lady, so I told her a particular reason why, the reason behind what she's going through, but she's not aware. She wasn't aware of it. Because it's subconscious.
Yes.
So she argued for 4 hours. So I kept on saying, no, madam, this is, and there's this empathy part of my work, and there's this passion. So I literally wanted her to become better. I wanted her to do well. So imagine staying with somebody for 4 hours. What was supposed to be for 1 hour?
1 hour.
Or 30 minutes. And so I was there for 4 hours. And then she later came back to say I was right, maybe some days later. And then the same lady again, another 4 hours. You know, because these are real issues.
Yes.
This is not like a theory or
it's actually somebody's life.
Is it fluid now? Like, it's literally going on. The person is literally going through a very real life serious issue.
What have you noticed, or what are some fundamental uniqueness to every individual Nigerian as to how they relate to their mental health, or the consciousness of them to their mental health, when you think about it, that you have observed over the years? Okay,
when I was in clinicals, I used to see people come for drugs even on Sundays. They come as if just the same way you go to ShopRite or you go to the mall on Sundays, as if you are going to buy sweets, and because they are on insurance. So they literally come, and I used to wonder, like, why will you come to just because you paid the insurance? You don't want to waste your money and everything. So Nigerians are very passionate about their physical health, and I see the same thing too in their mental health. But it's just that they are not really aware of they are yet to comprehend the whole issue about mental health. Whenever people hear mental health in Nigeria, what they think of is mental health disorder. So I think one of the first things I started talking about is that there's a difference between mental health and then mental health disorder. And before it becomes a disorder, it has gone through a personality issue.
Okay.
And before a personality issue, there was a life challenge that was poorly managed and then became a personality issue before it now becomes a mental health disorder. And so people don't just suddenly have schizophrenia or anxiety disorders or all these
graduated
disorders.
to that place.
It started from so my own company just felt like Quantum Consulting, like can we start helping people from the point where they are facing life challenges, so that it does not generate into a personality issue and then a mental health disorder. So a way to relieve my colleagues in psychiatry, because they are literally overwhelmed. And so if you just come and you're looking well, like Islamiyah is looking well, and then who are you on your clothes? Are you wearing is it denim or jeans? You are okay. There are people with disorders at the reception. So, so can Dr. Michaels and Quantum Consulting, can we handle those normal people? Those with just mental health, who do not even understand their mental? Because I noticed that's a tradition with Nigerians, is that unless I want to spoil, that's when we now think that we need help. And then what could have just been resolved with a few therapy sessions will now require you to get on medication, be secluded in a space and all of these things. In fact, as a matter of fact, in my company, we're also promoting the fact that mental health is the basis of physical health. Yeah. So we're literally also saying that you don't have to be sick physically. And people, a lot of people, anytime we say that, people get shocked. Like, they're always shocked. Like, how can you say that we don't have to be sick? That we have? No, I said we don't have to. If you're able to manage your life challenges there, it will not generate into a personality issue and then a mental health disorder or a physical life issue like hypertension and the rest of that.
This is a very interesting thing that you have said, and I'm sure that somebody's learning something differently this morning. But what is very important is, what do you do for fun?
Football.
You watch football?
So you play football? That's the question. Does he watch or play?
I play football, but I play football.
Okay.
But I'm not. I think I just lost interest because I just feel running up and down.
What do you mean?
But watching football, my club is Man U, and I'm sure you guys literally don't talk about. I feel the beef
with Manchester United.
Mayor Sports I don't know about Radio G.
Radio G is a Chelsea fan. Chelsea fan.
I don't know why people keep on beefing Man U.
Nobody's beefing them. I think that they have just become redundant over time.
Says who?
Obviously, they are not in good mental condition.
No, we are back. The
oh wow.
No.
I think Manchester United used to be that legacy team where everybody was because of Alex Ferguson and all. Right now they are third on the English Premier League table, which is a very good city. But I think that over time we've just seen how the club was moving from good to bad.
That was I think every club
has had that.
Yeah, so.
And I've just seen them treat people that have played. Personally, I've just had issue with how Manchester United has treated people who have played for the club.
Oh, okay.
And the example that just made me realize that this is a Manchester United problem, or how they treated Marcus Rashford. Administrative problem. So that was just why I just like, you know what, I really don't have anything to do with the club.
Okay, and I now get the beef because whenever I discuss Man U with you or I'm not discussing with Radio G, but with Mayor. In fact, Mayor also is even worse. He doesn't even hide the beef. Like, why should I talk about Man U? Why?
So what are the ways that
and then I try to play golf, long tennis.
I have rich people this hobby.
Therapy, you don't have rich
people hobby. I play golf because I feel like there's a certain level of money you have to enjoy things like polo and golf.
I love golf.
Somebody was talking about golf the other day, and it was like golf is the core of sport is to create avenues for men to talk, that men can't sit down like this and talk, but when they are doing something they can have like the best conversations while
I went to
activity.
the golf club and they were talking, and it was like a lot of men there, and they were just having conversations and whatever, and some of them were talking about the fact that some people come, they don't play golf, they just come to like sit and just have conversations and whatever. The place is very lovely, sharp.
Which was the
Badon golf club.
Lovely place.
The field, like it looks really good, but there's a certain amount of money you have.
And then the new one is basketball
now. Yeah, that's great. So you're a sports lover.
Yeah.
I would not have pegged you for a sport lover.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about like the ways that we have to be intentional as a people. Like some of the things that we need to do so that we don't get to the point where, everything starts to get like really overwhelming. What are the intentional things that you could do, your day-to-day activities in your life? You wake up in the morning, if you could do this one thing, if you could adopt some of these habits, it will make you just be better. Everybody might need to like get consultations from therapists from time to time, but it will not get to the point where your mental health will suffer so badly where it will affect your personality and maybe it will now develop in a disorder.
So before you answer, Dr. Michael, someone just texted, can we ask questions? Yes, of course, you can ask questions on the show. You can send us a voice note or send us a WhatsApp message or put a call through to the studio line, but preferably WhatsApp messages and voice notes so that we can get your questions clearly. 081 11 83 1983. 081 11 83 1983. Okay,
so I literally deal with very, very difficult issues. If it's not very bad, I'm not really interested. So that's why I try to put as much as possible out there so that it can reduce, people can get to solve their issues themselves, except it's very, very bad. If it's now very bad, I'm very interested. So what you want to do is when you wake up immediately, the first thing should not be prayers. The first thing should be you talking, having a mind session, talking to your mind. Because it's when you talk to your mind that you become clear about what to talk to God about. If you just wake up and then you quickly go to God, what will you say there? But what if you first of all have mind sessions where their mind sessions is in two ways. Number one is like talking to your mind about the things you believe generally about health, about finances, about relationship, about every aspect of life, about Nigeria, because you want your mind to be on the same page with you, because your mind is a separate entity from you. The second one is now literally you telling your mind about what the exact things you want, the things that you want to experience that same day. Okay. What you want people to tell you, what you want, the things you want, you desire that should take place in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. All those two things should be done. You should be intentional about, because our bodies follow our mind. If you are able to do that, you just discover that your body will start going to places and start doing many things that I start wondering, how did I walk to that place? What made me say that? And the rest of that. So that's how to be intentional. People always feel when I open my mouth, I'm the one opening my mouth. No, you're not. It's your mind.
Everything starts from the mind. Even the Bible actually said, I think it's the Bible that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it has to already have been conceived in your heart.
Yeah. So it's not about, I've always been talking about this from medical school days. It's not about the action. That's TEWA, T-E-W-A.
Thoughts, emotions, words.
There's always that temptation to start everything from the last.
From the action.
Being intentional about your action. And I laugh when I see those videos on social media, on TikTok. Be intentional about your action. I just laugh because it won't work. And I don't like it when there are no results. So these things are not working. Then why do you keep saying it? So you start from thoughts, emotions, words, and then normally, naturally, automatically, your actions will just follow.
Yeah.
So if you have like 10 goals, you set out 10 goals to do in a day, you think about it, think of yourself, imagine yourself doing them, and then develop fake emotions, rehearse emotions, the kind of emotions you like to have when you do them. And then words, make affirmations in the present tense. Not in the future tense, not in past, in present tense.
Not I will make it.
Not
I will.
I am making it.
In fact, and then you now express gratitude. Then you now take action. You will be shocked at what will happen that day.
There's a question here, and I'm sure the person is still typing, but just what they have said so far. They said it's actually about an addiction and how to battle it.
Okay.
I know that when I was, doing some work with the lady that I worked with, there were quite a number of cases where it was parents coming in to talk about their children having like some porn addiction, coming in, and I would not be part of this because of course it's not my business and it's a private thing, but it was something that I realized was very common, and it was mostly some of them were like really conserved. You could tell that this person was religious. In fact, there was a woman that came, and the daughter, the hijab that was very long, and they were talking about how it wasn't like they exposed the child to anything, but I mean it was something that the child found, and then the child got addicted to it, and then it became a problem that everywhere the child did not mind anybody around everywhere, and I'm talking about teenagers or whatever. So people talk about addiction, and there are different types of addiction, but I want to talk about it with teenagers as well, because this is one of the common addictions with teenagers, like porn and whatever. So how do you begin to handle? What can you do as a parent to help your child when you realize that your child is going through something like that?
Okay, go answer that. I think there's a different question here.
Okay, the person has finished typing.
There was this guy who was into drugs in his. He was not doing well in school, in university, and he was into drugs. But the parents are like religious leaders.
Yeah.
So they had to call me into confidence and tell me and the rest like that. So confidentiality, of course, is the rule of the game here. So while talking with the guy, I discovered that he was not. The parents were not exposed to it, but it's likely that the uncle was exposed to it. So while the parents kept on saying, it never happened to us, we have never tasted drugs, we don't even know what it means, I discovered that the uncle, so there's always a genetic component in all these things. The second thing is the environmental factor, because for a disorder to take place like addiction and just like that, there has to be a combination of genetic and environmental factors. The environmental factor in this case was the father is a phlegmatic. He didn't really have a kind of there wasn't the relationship between him and the wife was not that good. Like, so he was not always at home, and so the wife needed somebody to talk to, just like we met a typical woman, and so she felt she wanted to maintain her marriage in a successful way. So she started talking about her husband to her son. And then the son did not have enough emotional ability to handle it. So the son will help the mother to cope with the situation. And then who helps the son? Because the whole information will stress the son. So the son now goes into drugs to help him cope with stress. So addiction is a way of coping with something. So you want to know what this person is trying to cope with. you want to know what the person is trying to cope with.
Oof, that's the first line of action. Know what they are trying to cope with.
All right. The question here says, I have an issue with emotional insecurity, and it has affected me right from childhood till adulthood. I get scared whenever someone or people are nice to me. I have lost good friends because of this. I also have an issue with masturbation, regardless of how I try to keep my mind busy, hitting the gym, going out very early, coming back very late. I can, just to conserve energy or to take my mind off it. Doesn't work.
Yeah,
I need help.
Masturbation is also like a form of addiction or something, but the person is trying to cope with something. So you want to find out what the person is trying to cope with, because the masturbation is filling in for something. So what void? So instead of telling people not to take drugs, well, if you like, tell people from now to, have you ever been in their shoes? Do you know what they are going through? Just telling people that they should not do something is not enough. So because the enemy in quotes is within, and the person is like fire on the mountain, and the person can't see the enemy. And so you just telling the person that, oh, don't do it is not enough. You have to start from thought terror. And so the person is coping. Masturbation is literally using masturbation to cope with something. So you want to know, and you can use masturbation to cope with. So you can want to use it to cope with several things. So the question is, what is it in this person's case? So going to gym is going to tell the action.
Just fast forward.
Just postponing the evil day. It's not going to. It might give you temporary relief, since there will be increased blood flow to your brain. But when you are done, you're on your own. So the person gets scared easily. That easily gives it away. That's why I like last week's episode where we talked excessively about temperament. This person literally is primarily a phlegmatic. They are afraid of good things, and they're also afraid of bad things. When things are going well, they're afraid. When things are not going well, they're afraid. And so, and then the opposite of fear is faith. So in therapy sessions, we want to first of all deal with, there's usually a trauma underlining their fear. So we try to deal with trauma, and then we now try to build their capacity for life in such a way that they are able to build faith in themselves, faith in people, and how to build faith in themselves, and then how to build faith in people, how to build faith in Nigeria, how to build faith in their bosses, in their spouses, how to build faith in different in different people and the rest like that. So there's a whole lot. And interestingly, the person, yes, literally will be a primarily phlegmatic person, but we will now want to explore the secondary temperament of that person, which could be melancholy or choleric or sanguine, and then help the person to now boost that secondary temperament. So that the purpose of secondary temperament is to make up for the weaknesses of the primary.
Okay.
So that's what we try to help the person to do, and then the person is able to balance it too, and then the person becomes better.
So do you think that addiction is something that you can work through on your own, or you need professional help?
By the time it gets to addiction, but the addiction that when we term something to be addiction, that is something you can't do without. Something that, whether you have reasons or not, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Or another way of looking at it is something you use to cope with something. You're not really dealing with the problem.
Yes.
You are using it to cope
with.
That's when we know that, okay, there's an addiction. And so you've already crossed the line of you being able to help yourself. At that point, you're already helpless.
So you need help.
You need help because you're already turning to something else to help you cope. If there's no need to get help, you won't be turning to that thing to help you cope. So the fact that you're already turning to that thing to help you cope with what you are going through means that you need professional help.
Right.
So is it also something that because people will talk about it, there's some people that are trying to work their way through addiction, maybe just because they're trying to figure it out on their own, but they're always talking about like going back to it, maybe trying to work through drug addiction or even porn addiction or masturbation or whatever and going back to it. If you get professional help, is it possible that you find yourself back at it?
Okay, so there's power in talk or in talking. And you will discover that whenever you start talking about something, you will discover that you start having insights about that.
Yeah.
So now imagine you talking to a professional whose work is just to listen, not to tell you what to do, but to place all the cards on the table and then guide you into making a proper decision. And so you are going to talk about, so it's possible to go through therapy and not go back to it. Just a short answer. But so no, there are two ways we're going to go about it. Number one is to deal with the underlying trauma.
You have to always, so if you don't deal with it, you probably will find yourself back at it.
Which is the easiest thing to do, but it has to be done by a professional. Once the trauma is dealt with, that trauma was occupying a particular space, the trauma that just left. Now that space has to be filled because nature abhors vacuum. And that's where the work is. It's very easy to deal with trauma instantly. Within one session, the trauma will be dealt with. But where the work now lies is the capacity building, because you want to now fill in the space occupied by trauma. And depending on the size of the trauma, that is how long that trauma has been, how huge the influence of the trauma on your life will now determine the amount of work that needs to be done to fill in that space. And if you don't do it now, your children are going to be the ones to what will I do? Continue the trauma. So the question is, do you want your children to or do you want to end it now? And the fact that you are facing it now is if you can face it now and deal with it, you'll be doing yourself a lot of work. And before getting married too, is always advisable to also get it done before getting married. Excuse me, because it then helps. So as we're calling on religious leaders to also incorporate therapy or talking therapy into marriage counseling, and the rest like that.
This is very interesting. Remember, you can actually, if you want to reach out to Dr. Michael, you can just send him a DM on Instagram at Dr. Michael. The doctor is spelled in full, DoctorMichaels. That's the Dr. Michael's Instagram handle. And this conversation at the end of today's class,
Teacher,
would be available across all social media platforms. When the class went down over the weekend, right? I was this class stressed me, and I didn't realize how much I still have work to do, because as much as I was like, I know what I'm doing, I think I'm supposed to be able to charge this amount of money, this is supposed to happen. I was really trying to strengthen my mind around it. It was really stressing me, and I broke down. Yeah. I've been struggling with my health for like a week before the event or 2 weeks before, and I've just treated malaria. I was trying to recover, and I was also trying to like get on with the class. And for me, I was more worried as to if people were going to get value out of the class more than anything else, because I didn't want them to go on Instagram and say, I register for that class. I know.
So wait, were you thinking about your reputation, your name, or were you thinking about if people were going to literally get value? Or is it?
I really wanted people to get value. It was both. It was about my reputation first off, and I think I wanted them to get value, because I really wanted to have that impact on people with like, they learned something from this class. Like they've picked this class was, what helped them to like scale or be able to make that decision to go on and do what they needed to do. So it was those two things. I think in the middle of all of that, I started thinking of the feeling of not being enough.
Okay.
And it got me thinking as to how many people are still dealing with the conversation of not feeling enough, even when they probably have done some work, they deserve some things. A few weeks ago, I had processed the feeling of disrespect from a different perspective. And I was like, this is very interesting. I've never thought of these things like this before. And how do you handle that conversation? Because sometimes things can happen, and it might not be that you're not good enough. It might just be that thing that happened was to show you that you're being disrespected.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say that the feeling of not being enough could be, or you can say, is literally related to people expectations.
Okay,
let's have it.
So I feel that thinking about expectations of people, it's not going to help.
thinking about the expectation of people, it's not going to help.
I have to be the one performing, and I also have to be the one assessing the performance, and that means I have to learn how to be objective in my own situation. Once you're able to get to that level where you are objective about your situation, you have done well.
When you're objective about your situation, you have done well.
Because you will then be able to look at it as a third party and look through it without emotions, without sentiments. And then you are able to say, okay, this was not. So regardless of what everybody else has to say, you are going to factor in whatever everybody has to say. You are going to listen to what everybody has to say. But you are still going to look at whatever they say, the feedbacks objectively. So once you are able to do that, it helps you to be able to cope with whatever assessment anybody has made, because people make assessment from different angles. And you have to be sure that somebody's assessment does not end up affecting your mental health negatively.
Yeah.
And there's a thin line between making sure that another person's assessment does not affect you negatively and also taking somebody's correction. Constructive criticism. So when you are objective about the assessment of your situation, you will discover that you are open to constructive criticism. And then it also helps. The beauty of it is that it helps you to see through people's feedbacks. It helps you to see through people's assessment and be able to know where it is coming from. So once you're able to see where it is coming from, you're able to know, no, I'm not taking that. No, I'm not taking this. Okay, I'm taking that. Okay, I'm taking this. Okay, no, I'm not taking that. So it helps a lot, and it also helps you to be able to assess your life on the go, and being able to objectively assess your life is a great gift.
Being able to objectively assess your life
is a great gift.
It's going to help you a lot, because you will then be able to assess your life on the go, and you'll be able to quickly make very quick decisions. And then you discover that per minute, per second, you are changing, you are becoming better, and by the end of the day, you have changed. And the person that met you 10 o'clock yesterday and meeting you 10 o'clock today is not going to be meeting the same person. And so it's a beautiful thing. So we want to strive towards being objective about assessing our lives and not be sentimental.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. We are constantly all going through it and becoming better. And then it helps you to become a better boss, because you are then able to do the same in the lives of the people working with you. You are able to objectively look through what they have done and be able. By the time you are correcting them, it's not going to be a personal thing. And once the person knows that it's not a personal thing, the person will never be angry with you.
Yes, because they know it's about the work, about them being better. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Michael.
Yeah.
So just a little token of our love. It's celebrating you this morning.
I knew you guys were doing something. I knew you guys were. You know, it's my work now. These two people, they've not been this. What was happening? I wish what was this? Something is going on. When you now said mental health providers, something is going to go down today. What is it?
Well, we're glad
shawarma, hot shawarma. I love shawarma. Oh my god.
Since we already figured out, we're like, we have to do something for Dr. Michael today, because we don't get this opportunity all the time.
Wow.
Basically, we always tell you thank you all the time, but I think it was when we saw this opportunity, we're like, you deserve to be celebrated in a lot of ways. And
so it was delivered. That was what you went to do. I thought you went to go to pick a call or particular.
No. There's no call that is important here. So yeah.
So from Glass Rises this morning, we want to say
so
thank you.
much.
Thanks for being a huge part of our programming.
Thank you.
I don't think we talk about it as much, but I know how much the talking therapy with you has contributed to the quality of the listeners that we have as on the time belt, and even as a station in general.
Yeah.
And we just want to say thank you, Dr. Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you. I think Blast FM is blessed to have you guys. The same time with when Oiza was there, and then when Islamiyah came, Islamiyah literally just and the level of the intellectual discourse and exchange is so powerful, and you guys are very good, and I think Blast FM is blessed to have you guys.
Thank you.